Hello, 'tis I, the QSG, and I have an interesting thing to talk about today. So as you all know, this is QSG, the little octoling I've been using for all of my gaming videos and streams. But would it surprise you to know that's not my persona? Yeah. Don't know, I am not solely a Splatoon content creator. It's a good chunk of my content, as I enjoyed the game and it kind of had a massive chokehold on me for years, but I've always wanted to be a variety content creator. Those who, unfortunately, watched that All That's Welcome video would probably know that, since even then, I mentioned wanting to do different things like gaming videos, animatics, and the like, you know, the stuff I've already uploaded onto my channel anyway. Because of that, I had designed a general persona design meant to be representative of stuff I enjoyed and, well, me. The plans to officially show that design through my content whenever I got enough money to pay for a VTuber model. Yeah, that's still a good whiles away, but anyways, that design has gone through a few changes over the past year or so, including a very, very recent design I made. I made this picture for it, and then these. And well, the design still wasn't doing it for me. It was missing something, and I wasn't sure what. So, as much as I didn't want to redesign it so soon after a redesign, I knew I had to break down this design to figure out exactly what I want. And I thought going through the process with all of you would make an interesting video. So here we are, in the spirit of New Year, New Me, let's make a QSG design to take into 2025. So, to start, what were the problems I was having with this current design? Don't get me wrong, it's not bad, not the worst design that's ever been made, but it's just not hitting what I want in a persona design. And then when I try to ask myself, well, what is it that you want in a persona design, Q? I didn't know! Like, I knew, but what I knew was all a jumbled mess I couldn't make out the finer points of. I had a vibe, but vibes tend to be vague, and if I want to avoid redesigning this persona until the fucking sun explodes, I need more than vibes. So, time to go back to the stuff I learned in college and use those skills to help me figure that out. Boom! Here is that thing. To explain, I basically broke down the design into the key points I wanted, mainly the things that make it QSG, so stuff like the floating crown, the mask, him being an ocean-themed shapeshifter, all that good stuff in this little list. Along with my most recent pictures of them. The Splatoon ones are in there because I changed their eye shape and I wanted to keep that. The next step now was to basically expand on those key points, which, as you can see, I've already done. So with all of this on my computer screen, my sketchbook, a pencil, and music blasting, I got to sketching down some designs. Keeping in mind that even if I really, really like something at first, I need to allow myself to try out other things that could work and give them a fair chance. Even if I don't end up using them, I at least know for certain so I'm not sat wondering later on. Doing that, I ended up with 4 pages of sketches before I felt I had explored enough and was ready to go digital. Here are those sketches. So, first things first, I wanted to get out of the way. The body. The hair, the eyes, and all of that other good stuff that goes underneath the coat and the mask, largely. It makes sense to get that stuff out of the way before I start trying to draw a coat on top of it, just so I know what the fuck I'm supposed to draw underneath the coat in the first place. So, to do that, I simply just drew the little guy in a few poses without the masks. And by that I mean I drew 2 without the mask and 1 with the mask. But shush, the eyes were fine. I didn't have to worry about the face all that much. It was largely just the body and the main outfit I needed to get down. I also decided that to fully hammer in the 8 motif, they have 4 fingers. They're going to have 4 fingers. In every drawing that I can, I will try to draw my persona with full fingers only. That's gonna be hard for me because I'm used to drawing 5 fingers. But hey, I think it'd be visually interesting, and it makes sense to me. If it's like octopus, why have 10 when you can have 8? Teehee. I also wanted to quickly get out like how the pointy ears were going to be drawn, because there was like a few ways I was drawing them here, and I wasn't really sure if I wanted to go with them being more fluffy and furry like I had previously drawn, or if I wanted to try making them more sea creature-y. Eventually, I went with the sea creature-y. There was this one in the bottom here that I drew with fins, and I really liked it, so we went with that one. I also added some little rips in the tail because it was meant to be like a little callback to the fact that my octopus persona had a rip in the ear, so I thought that would be cool. You also see for all these drawings that I color QSG's hair in either purple, pink, or blue highlighter. That's largely because I still could not make up my fucking mind about what hair color I wanted this stupid idiot to have, so I kept changing it just to get a good look at it, get a good test. I also kept testing different patterns I could put on the top hat. I eventually stuck with one, but you'll see that for all the other designs. I'm mentioning it here before, you know, I have to keep mentioning it on every other page. Anyways, that's the first page. And on to the second page. This is where the coat design hell begins. Okay, it wasn't really hell, it was just me having to draw this coat multiple times to figure out a design that I liked, because the only things I knew I wanted for this coat was I wanted it to be big, I wanted it to be mostly black, with pink and blue accents. That could mean fucking anything! I immediately stuck with this idea of, like, adding these belts near the top to kind of, like, poof out the sleeves and kind of make them a bit more interesting and unique, and honestly, I don't know why I added them, I just thought, fuck it, flair! Also, because I do really like the idea of just, like, little, like, belts and wraps and strings and all that stuff. Like, the crisscross things. I like that in the character design, and usually whenever I put it on my character's arms, it would always get covered by the coat. And I hated that, so I put the belts on the coat this time. Yippee! Problem solved. I iterated mostly on the sleeve design here because I wasn't sure where I wanted to go with it. There was a lot of ways I could go with it. I eventually, I had this, like, I saw the belt thing that I drew, and you'll see on the next page, I tried to iterate on it. I will tell you right now, I did not like it after I iterated on it a bit further, but that's the part of my whole sketch design process that I've learned that is okay to do, is that sometimes you have ideas and they don't pan out, but at least you know now for certain that they didn't pan out. For the most part, though, this was just me trying to draw the coat. I also tried drawing in the wings a bit. You'll see I kind of just went with the smaller ones. It didn't clutter up the design as hard, and they were a little easier to draw and a bit more simplified. Also, more of this fucking tail not being drawn. I don't know what I wrote here, but da-da-da, the third page. This is that belt sleeve thing iteration I was talking about. I was like, ooh, if I have belts on the end of the sleeves, then I could have little belts dangling off it, you know, because I like little dangly things. And, yeah, that pretty quickly ended up looking like Escaped Mental Asylum and less like whimsical, silly guy, so, very quickly did not go with that, but I did like the idea of having something dangling off my sleeve, so I drew, the sleeves, but with, like, my usual whole little, like, kind of, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like that detailing of the the sweater detailing, I guess you could say, of the sleeves, and then I put little bows on them, and I like that. I think that looked pretty cool. I need to iterate on it a little bit further, but I think that looked pretty cool. I also had a meltdown and finally just fucking drew what the tail looked like, so I had an idea of how the hell I was gonna draw it. Yeah, doing that really helped me figure out what the fuck the tail was supposed to look like. Not much to say about this page, it was just me trying to iterate on that belt design because I thought I'd like it, and I didn't, but that's okay, because at least now I know for certain that I do not like it. Da-da-da, the fourth and final page. This is where I was trying to just finish off iterating on the design. I decided to try out drawing the wings and figuring out what I wanted to do with the wings. Again, kept them pretty small. Feel like it doesn't clutter the design as much. It makes it a bit easier to draw the design in total. I would just make it so if whenever they have to actually fly, they'd make the wings bigger, because realistically, those little wings are not carrying his ass off the ground. I tried drawing these wings here with like a little shape to make them look like neon wings. Very quickly went, no, I'm not going with the neon wings for the design. They're gonna have normal, organic looking wings. I also drew a design with black wings to see if I'd like it. I still wasn't certain. Again, that was something I was like, I'm gonna have to do this digitally. I couldn't figure it out, but I did. I tried them with the dark wings, and eventually I had a meltdown and was just like, look, okay. I like wearing collared shirts a lot. I really do. So I tested out putting a collar on the top, and it just perfect. It tied the design together. That was what it was missing, was just for it to make it feel more like my fucking design, was just to give the damn shirt a collar. Why was that what it needed to just fully tie it together? I don't know, but this is where I felt comfortable to just take this shit to my digital design stage, and yeah. So, now that I've done all that, I bet you think it's time for the final piece, huh? Yeah, wrong! We have more concepts to explore in the digital world. AKA, I had to test out color palettes, and I can't effectively do that in my sketchbooks, since even highlighters tend to bleed through it, and pencil crayons don't have exact colors. Also, you can't undo putting pencil crayon on paper. Point is, digital sketch time. This is where I can pull the ideas from the book together and get my first look at the design in a clearer way. And by not rushing into a final piece at this stage, I gave myself room to go back to my sketchbook if I wanted. I didn't have to in this case, but again, so advice to people who use sketchbooks and also draw digitally. It puts a lot less pressure on yourself since sketches are not meant to be perfect. That is the nature of the sketch. They're messy and quick for idea trying. And finally, we're on to the digital draft stage of the design process. We're almost done, guys, don't you worry. Real quick, you'll see it in a minute, and I just need to preface this. I know, I drew the legs backwards. The smaller shoe leg should be on the other leg, and vice versa, and I'm saying leg a lot, but the point is that I drew it wrong. I fixed it in the final design, obviously. I realized it midway through coloring. I couldn't be asked to fix it at that point. It's a fucking draft. Who cares if their legs are backwards? It's fine. No one would notice. Unless you point it out. Anyways, I decided to use the pose from the belt design since I felt it was the easiest to draw, but it still showed off design and personality in a way that made sense and would work for this silly little design. It's not as open and as extravagant as the one I drew in my book, but I feel like it worked. It's a pose that made sense, and it shows off the point, which is the coat is big and kind of flappy and it flows around and all that good stuff. So, yeah. Since it's just a colored sketch, I separated it into 3 layers, those being the body, the underclothes, and the coat and the mask. You'll see when I color them, their respective colors in a minute. That's largely just to separate them better in my mind, because if I'm looking at the different colors, I can physically see the different layers, and it also makes it easier to color in the sketch, because I can just block the layer and then slap the colors on top of it. That's pretty much why I do that. As previously stated, the digital draft is just to get a clear look at the design and test out colors, so that's pretty much most of what this time-lapse is. It's just me drawing the design and then trying out the colors. The first thing I wanted to get out of my head, because it was very furiously in my head as I was in the process of designing QSG, was this whole kind of black and white yin and yang thing with mainly their gloves and the wings. To explain, the smaller gloves would be black on one hand, white on the other, and then the opposite would be true for the striped gloves on those hands, where one would have, black and colored stripes and one would have white and colored stripes. I don't know why, I didn't sit down and think that pastel colors and white stripes do not really go together, but, yeah, they don't really go together, especially when the pastel is more of a bright pastel than a muted pastel, so yeah, I didn't end up going with that, just ended up having, black striped gloves with the white, smaller gloves and all that stuff, but I feel that is better overall for my design. It makes it a little less complicated. There's enough half and half nonsense going on in it already. And yeah, pretty much after that, it was just finishing off drawing the design and coloring it in. And originally, I stuck with this thing where the color on the sleeves went halfway up the sleeves. And then after I finished originally rendering it, I decided to change that and have it so the color on the end of the sleeves would only be on the very end of the sleeves, and instead there would be this crisscross kind of stitching pattern on the on the sleeve where the original half color was. I don't know if I'm using the words to describe this very well. You'll see it at the end of the time-lapse anyway. You'll get what I'm talking about when you see it. I don't know how to put this shit into words, but that's basically what I decided to do. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. It's just the stuff I drew in my sketchbook, but I gave it color, and I tried out to see what colors worked where, and yada yada yada. So, yeah. And yeah, I felt pretty ready and pumped to work on the final design at long last. So far, I was really happy where the design was going. I feel it made sense, and it had things I'd been longing to have featured in my design for ages, Like, glowy things! I like glow-in-the-dark stuff so much, and how I never thought of fucking bioluminescence, despite being a Splatoon and Ocean lover, is funny, honestly. I got fucking neon digital wings before I got glow-in-the-dark fish. Comedy, really. So, can we see it? Yes, you can, dear viewer. Ta-da! 'Tis I, the Queen Shy Guy. thank you all so much for watching this video. I know it's different from my other stuff, but, well, of course it is. I like doing new stuff sometimes. Please note, this design might take a while to appear and update across my other content, since so far I just have the design. After this video is up, I need to design a new PNG tuber, new sprites for YouTube, new Twitch emotes, and I gotta redo my Twitch cards because they're all so old, and my channel banner because it still says Quick Shy Girl, and that's not my name anymore. Point is, I have a lot of work to do going into the new year, but I hope you'll be along for the ride with me. I really want to improve my upload and streaming schedule in 2025, and hopefully a new look will continue to spark my creative flow. Also, if you want to see the time-lapse video of me drawing the final QSG design, it'll be uploaded right after this video. Once again, thank you all so much, happy holidays, and I'll see you all in the next year. Bye-bye!